The Eight of Cups, a card of walking away. Why? I've put some keywords on the screen for you tonight. It's because we go on an emotional quest. And I've combined the Eight of Cups there with that good old card, the Hermit. So the Hermit is a card that links to the past. So this is probably a combination that, if it came up, would tell you that they're going back in search of something from the past or something that is of emotional value from the past. And the emotional side comes from the cups because we're in the element of water and it's all about how we feel. The Hermit, of course, is quite grounded and one of those cards that makes people say, you know what, I don't really know what it means. So it's experience, it's wisdom, and it's usually about wanting solitude, being on one's own, in a place to be able to be free to do whatever the minor card is telling us. And that minor card is not changing tonight. That's going to be the Eight of Cups. It's the major card that will keep changing. So that emotional quest for the past, is it someone from the past? We wouldn't know. We need to look at the surrounding cards for that and the position in the spread to actually look at the cards from the past in your spread to find out what was going on in the past that might have made the person that's having the reading want to actually explore emotions on a quest, but they need to do it on their own. That's for sure. Maybe it's about letting go of the past because the Eight of Cups can also signify letting go. And although our figure in the card is showing that they're on that journey already, they've already made a start, but they are leaving the arrangement of those cups. Not willy-nilly, is it? It's definitely neat, stacked, and you can see 5 cups on the bottom, representing that is something that they have, like the 5 of Cups, probably had some emotional disappointment or grieved emotionally, bereaved of something emotionally. And the 3, of course, signifies the joy of actually being in celebration, being happy. So it's a combination mixed of maybe sorrow, like the 5, and 3 is joy, that that person has left a space for another cup, wanting more, but letting go. And if you've got a major card in front of it, you know what you're letting go of. And in this case, that major card is the past. Another one here is walking away from the past. Probably absolutely correct. Most people walk away from something that's not serving them. They put it in the past. And maybe this is experience and wisdom and the Hermit suggesting the need to get away from the past, the need for solitude because of the Hermit. But of course, the Eight of Cups is a card here on its own. How about this one? So moving on from the past. So pretty much similar stuff. It's actually about doing what one needs to do emotionally for oneself. And of course, the Hermit is about experience. It's about being in a place where you can concentrate on yourself and go for introspection and reflect and see what it is that's important to you to be able to get what it is that's missing in your life, missing in an emotional context. The minor card will always tell you where that person has been affected. When we're doing swords, we knew that the swords were talking about communication, conversations, and the way in which the person who's having the reading is thinking. When it comes to emotions, it's about how they're feeling, how they're processing their feelings, whether they're relaxed, whether they're happy, whether they're sad, whether they're disappointed, whether there's dissatisfaction. All of these things are important for you as a reader to be able to say correctly. And what I mean by that, people often say, oh, I think they're thinking this. And you've got cups. It's not about thinking. I know it's a mistake. It'd be nice if we could go, look, I think it really does mean emotion. And that person then has the ability to actually put the reading into a place where they've got a little map of the current background effects and they know how to navigate the journey ahead based upon our correct sort of interpretation of that reading. Okay, let's get rid of the Hermit. And I'm going to bring on the good old Fool. If we've got the Fool and the Eight of Cups combined, there's no court cards there, but again, we are talking about the emotions. And if we feed the energy of the Eight of Cups into the Fool is all about brand new beginnings. There's so many key words that it could actually be, but we're going to pick a nice easy one, which means new. New, as in moving on. You're moving on somewhere new. It's as simple as that. And when the Fool comes up, I would always say to you, a great tip here is, you know that it's about revolutionary changes. You know it's probably connected to the planet Uranus, and you know that things will never be the same. But I think when we look at the fact it's something new, think of it like this. I know it may sound really obvious, but it's somebody brand new or something that is brand new. There is nothing that this is about someone from the past or going back to an old job. Am I going to get a new job at my old place? That kind of thing. Probably not, because you said old place. Am I going to have a new relationship with my old boyfriend or my ex-husband or my old friend? No, this is telling you it's not happened. You have not had it happen yet. It's almost saying this is something that you've never seen or experienced before. A really good tip is, if somebody's saying, can we look at the past? You're going to look at the Hermit. If you're going to look at something that's brand new, and know that it's nothing to do with maybe who they're asking about because they've got some history. History would be with cards like the Hermit or the Six of Cups. That's all about something that's happened. Whereas brand new, it can seem so obvious. And when you're lost in a lot of cards or you're feeling under pressure when you're reading, it's easy, isn't it, to actually go, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. Keep it simple. New, brand new. It's if somebody said, my brother was talking about buying a new car. It's new for him. He's never had a car like that. And he's talking about a not brand new as in out of the factory and nobody's ever driven it before. It's new to him. He's not actually had, shall we say, a Volvo that's blue, on that number plate, automatic, all of that kind of thing. It's new. It's, oh, have you had a Volvo before? The Fool card's saying, no, they haven't. And they've had a car before. You can get down into the nitty gritty of something. This is new and they're moving on. No, they're moving on to something new. They're not connecting with anything that they've already done. I know that may sound as if it's simple, but I know that when we've got a reading, it can actually be that you go, oh, I thought it meant this or whatever. And that's because we perhaps get lost in expecting too much from the reading. Just keep it nice and simple. Brand new? Yeah. Oh, am I going to get a new house? Absolutely. Will it be brand new? Don't know. But it'll be new to you. Simple. Yeah? That's one like that. Okay. So then moving on. And if we've got the Fool, we could also say maybe it's not that we're going to use that. This is a new thing. They're going to walk away. Oh, they've done it before. If they have, it's going to be different this time because the Fool is saying it's not going to be the same as before. That's why we say revolutionary changes, where things will never be like they were before. They're going to do it differently. See? So it's about looking at what is it that the cards are really trying to tell you, okay? And so that is, they're going to walk away in a complete new way. Oh, they'll be back. Really? If they are, they'll be different. They'll be a brand new person because something's changing, that's for sure. Okay. Why are they doing that? Our person is letting go. Letting go of what? Emotions. And there you have it, the Eight of Cups. They're emotional treasures. As I suggested, the Three of Cups on the top are about the joys. Space for another joy. Underneath, Five of Cups represents being disappointed, being upset. We often refer to that card as emotional difficulties, struggles with our emotions. But it's also a card of grieving, of being disappointed. It's a combination. The Eight of Cups is the good, the bad, the ugly, the sad, all of that. There's a new journey. This person's going to let that go emotionally and not dwell on the joys and not dwell on the sorrows. That's what this combination would mean if we wanted to use the keywords letting go. A new emotional quest, brand new journey, searching for something, probably connected. It's a quest, and the Eight of Cups is that. It's a bit of enlightenment. When we look at astrology, it would be very much about the fact that you are in a place of the moon will tell you what makes you comfortable. If it was an emotional quest and I was looking at the Eight of Cups, I would be thinking that this person really wants to relax into their emotional self, to actually be fulfilled in their spiritual self. There's something missing in their life, emotionally and spiritually, and they're not comfortable. It's always an aspect of what makes us comfortable. Our sun sign is our vitality. So the moon represents where we're comfortable. It also represents where we can have our fears and our hopes and our wishes. And so, yeah, you've got this beautiful combination that is telling you that things will not be the same. This person is off to do some soul searching. That's in a general statement that we are looking just at how to read a pair of cards. When we've got our minor arcana there for the night, Eight of Cups, to be able to see how to read that minor card. All right, let's just look at the next keyword that we've got there for the Magician. I chose manifestation. How could the Magician and the Eight of Cups? The Magician's a card of communication. It's linked to Mercury, the planet Mercury. It's about our communication, as I said. But Magician has the four elements on the table and the infinity sign, and he's holding a crystal wand. There's a lot more going on that card, but you can look at the tutorial of the Magician in the podcast, which I'll be popping on to remind you where to find them and what they look like. So you can watch all of the tutorials on each individual card, which we do on Thursday, and on Tuesdays, where we explore how to read the card we've just studied and combine it. So very well learning a card, but how to use it. And that's what Tuesdays is about. Okay, so the manifestation, that comes from combining the four elements. So the four elements of the sword, the cup, the wand, and the pentacle. And that is telling us that's the thinking, the thought process, the mental agility, the communication, because the Magician is Mercury, so that's very big. So the communication of one's mind or to others. And the cups telling us emotionally what that person wants. And the action, they will do all of those things. They will think it, they will feel it, they will act on it, and they will make it happen, which is why I put manifestation. Absolutely. It's already happening. It's already in motion because everything's on the table already set. You've started this. What I'm saying is probably packed or planned or wrote a list or started applying. Whatever it is that's taking you on your emotional quest, planned it, you are ready to go, and you will do it. And that is because of the Magician, not necessarily because we are talking about the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is about what we want to do, doesn't mean we'll do it. But the Magician in this case says, yes, because you've got all four elements there. So it's slightly different. It's a very powerful card. So this person will manifest their emotional quest. Absolutely they will. And that's because they are wanting to let go. And they want to manifest something new. The cups are arranged in the Eight of Cups in the Rider-Waite. It's making room for another emotional thing in their life. And so in order to make room for something, they've got to leave behind and let go so that they can manifest. It's a bit like saying, I've got to leave home because I've got to make my journey in the world of my education or my career. And I can't do that living with mum and dad, or I can't do that while I've got all these people that they don't want me to do it. Of course they don't. They don't want to lose you. And you probably don't want to lose them. If you look at that, it's a combination of disappointments, as we said, the 5 cups on the bottom, and the joys, which are the 3 on the top. This is somebody that's actually saying, I've got mixed emotions about everything. I want more. Want being the word. Will they do it? Magician says yes. Okay. If we change that to keyword of walking away, manifesting walking away. What do you mean? It means they will. They are going to walk. Because that Magician card is a card of manifestation. And it means they've thought about it. They've had feelings about it because of the cups. The Wands tell us actions there, fire, energy, going to make it happen. Pentacles telling us it's manifested. It's already, as I said, think of it that they've packed their bag. Just going to put on some keywords. See you in a moment. The High Priestess. And the High Priestess is a card of, keyword that I would like to keep nice and simple, future. It can be many things, of course it can. It's all about intuition. We're not going to go too deeply into the multiple meanings of what the High Priestess is, because you can watch that on podcasts, which you can look at anytime you want to, okay, and go through what it means. But really the High Priestess, it's about gut feelings, it's about intuition, it's about what's going to happen, what's coming, secrets that we are going to find out. And so this person on the Eight of Cups has probably had that intuition that they must do this emotionally. Sometimes people say, I must do this, and they can't quite explain why. And they say it's a need, it's a feeling, I have to. I don't know why, I just need to do it. It's a need inside of me. And so an emotional quest is to go and find something. Usually, as I said, spiritually, and definitely spiritually when we've got the High Priestess. And that's probably something that they're looking inwardly. They've probably really, really looked at their inner selves and reflected on how they're feeling. And they may need to do this, which is to let go. Let go of the emotions to allow the future things that we do not know what they are, but we just know it. We cannot explain it. And that's really what this poem means. It's about getting a hunch, getting a feeling. Both the hunch can be described as intuition. It can be described as gut feeling. It can be emotionally. It can be dreams, because the High Priestess is also attached to the moon, very much as it works in conjunction with the moon. And therefore, when you get that card, if you're lucky enough, it means that's where some big emotional revamps in our life come in. And they're usually based on reasons. And the reasons are usually to do with our emotions. And our emotions saying, I've got to leave this behind. Passionate Sashi, you were talking about moving, about letting go. And allowing the future to come to you, being open, saying, I know that the universe has got a plan for me. Not, oh, hey, here I am, bring it on. But you've got to do your bit. And if you do your bit, it's actually putting yourself into the right environment. Sometimes we just need to bring in that new environment. You need to be in the right location. I wanted to, in my first job, I wanted to be a private nanny. I was trained as a nursery nurse. I have a certificate, NNEB, and I didn't particularly want to work in educational nurseries. I needed to be around something that was more vibrant, more challenging, where I wasn't responsible in the educational realms, but I was able to do what the parents wanted, and that's what I wanted. Living in Yorkshire, there wasn't too many sort of opportunities that I was impressed with. And that's why I needed to move away from my family and go to London, where this was the norm. So that's a really good example of going, I had to look for the evidence of the adverts in the newspapers, the Lady magazine, those kind of things that advertise positions for staff such as NNEB nannies. And that's what I wanted, but I wasn't going to find it living where I was. I was prepared to let go, love my family, but I also wanted the joy of having that experience and working in that environment. I might have been good for them, but it wouldn't have been good for me. And it's knowing yourself. So that's a really good example of the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is, I have to do what's right for me. It may be good for others, so I'd have loved it. I know that. But I would not have been happy. Same as our figure in the Eight of Cups is confidently going, I'll take my chances. And that means that, yeah, it's hard to let go of the ones I love. Of course you get homesick. Of course you miss. Of course you actually go, it's not the same. Gosh, they'll be doing this now, and we should have done that. And I could hear how upset they were. And I'm sure they think that it must be scary for them that they don't know what's happening to me, and I wouldn't tell them things that might make them worry. We know that we can be causing some emotional disappointment for others too. And they might think, oh, they're all joyful. So letting go takes a lot of courage. But it is actually about saying, I'll do my bit. And when I'm walking away to allow the future to come in, and I'm moving on. I'm moving on into my future. And very emotionally driven, okay? We've got an eclipse there in the Eight of Cups. You can see that in the sky. Eight of Cups is, more cups you've got, the more emotion you've got, some say. It's up to you how you want to read it. But the High Priestess is also in conjunction with the moon. What makes us comfortable? What makes us fearful? What are our hopes? What are our dreams? What are our wishes? That is what this pair is all about. Does anybody want a particular major arcana card that I can put on the screen for you? You're more than welcome to actually type it in and ask me. In the meantime, I'll quickly show you where to find the Tuesday podcast. So, all right, so that's Tuesday Tarot Twist, which is what we're doing right now, using combination cards. All right, so it's where I show you the card that I'm featuring on the left, as you can see in the playlist there in the thumbnails, and the question mark card. What card are we going to put there? It's just the best way of actually saying how to combine cards. You'll find that, of course, on my YouTube channel, Tarot with AnneMarie. The Hierophant. Now, obviously, there are many keywords and many meanings of what it is. But the whole point of what we are trying to do here is, rather than overload you, I know I do that on Thursdays, folks. Sorry, I try and give you everything. Here, we're doing the opposite, trying to keep it as simple as it possibly could be. So, The Hierophant, we are saying, it's all about rules, right? And let's say that our question was, I want to know whether or not I'm going to be able to come out with a qualification that allows me to, let's say, drive, teach, practice, those kind of qualifications. Am I going to be able to have that qualification? And you've got to go on an emotional quest and work out how to do it, because the powers that be are going to be the ones that make the rules up. So this would be about your emotional quest to find out how you're going to make that happen. How would it be that we are looking at the Hierophant and the Eight of Cups? Eight of Cups is about moving on, okay? Moving on from the rules. Like I said, might be a case of you want to get qualified as a doctor, teacher, a lecturer. And let's say a great example, and I'm not saying this is what this means, but I think this is a really good example to help you, is the rules and the red tape. Look at it as governments. And what do we have when we've got governments? We've got the council. Well, they give me planning permission, and you might go, what does it mean moving on? It means because of the rules, you might need to walk away from your original plan and go and figure out how to come back and adhere to the rules. You're not getting what you want. The rules are stopping you. That's why you're having to move on. I want to be a lecturer. Tough. They want this qualification. I've got that qualification. The rules say no. Or let's look at this. I want to get a mortgage. The Hierophant is about contracts. I want to get a mortgage. Okay, so I want this mortgage. So what card do you look at? A Hierophant, because it's contracts. We'd also be looking at justice card for the legal, or some of the court cards, as in the serious ones, like the King of Swords, the Queen of Swords, barristers, solicitors, that kind of thing. That's what this channel's about, trying to give you what may actually make you go, I never thought of that, or, oh my gosh, it's so obvious. Why didn't I put it together? Been there, seen it, done it. Sometimes you can go so far down a rabbit hole, you miss. I'm guilty of doing it until you actually pedal backwards, as it were. It's a bit like snakes and ladders going up and down. Need to look at the basics. What's the basics telling me? If it was that you wanted to be able to have a mortgage, you might be going to the mortgage company or the bank. That's who we're looking at, the people that make the rules up regarding those contracts. All right? Financial contracts, banks. Hierophant is banks. And it's also the taxman. And it's also the deans in the college. It's the headmasters. It's the council. It's those people that make up the rules. Even down to the church, the bishop, the priest, all those kind of things, school governors. It's because it's if it said red tape or contracts or even communication, it is a card of communication, and it's also traditional. So I always think of this card as in, first and foremost, governments, councils, officials, colleges, deans, everybody that's able to do that. Or passport, will they give me a visa? The Hierophant's going to say yes or no. In this case, the Eight of Cups is saying that our person has gone to the people who make the rules, and they've got no choice but to walk away. They won't have me. Got to go somewhere else. Their rules are not actually catering for me. So something in the officialdom is actually saying that person's got to walk away. So that might be, I'm with this bank, and that bank's red. We'll call it the red bank. And now I've got to walk away, and I'm going to pick the colour green or blue in the Eight of Cups, because we're seeing that. I'm going to see if the Green Mountain Bank, as you can see in the Eight of Cups, let's make that up, will have me. And I'll be able to financially get the assistance I need for my career or my mortgage or whatever it is. Yeah? Or we could say, I'm going to the blue sky bank. And I'm saying that because we've got a blue sky in the Eight of Cups, so we're not advertising anything or trying to give anybody advice. If we go there, they might help you because the Hierophant has caused you to have to go, I ain't going to get the satisfaction I need here. I've got to move on. Those rules are telling me you've got to do something else. So you've got to walk away. Oh, but please, no, let's go and find something else. I've had bank managers say, oh, you're not worth the piece of paper you're written on, young lady, especially when I was a live-in nanny going back too many years. And them actually saying, you live in and you earn this? No, go away. I was like, okay, you missed out when I actually did that, got that out of my system and went off and set up a company for 250 psychics. You didn't get my business then because she told me to go away. So I walked off and found someone else. Yeah. So you see, I won't name them, years ago, but made me feel like I'd got no chance. A Hierophant, another good example of this, and this is something that came up in a reading many years ago when I was actually a student. I was a student of tarot and I was living in London and I was teaching a lady who had come from Serbia and was trained as a doctor in Serbia. I would say probably late 80s, early 90s, thinking about that time. That's when I was a driving instructor. So you see, I move on. I've moved through my career. Why? I do what makes me happy and walk away when it doesn't. But for some people, that's really hard, especially if you're Turian, because they like safety and security of something that goes with the status quo. I'm a Cancerian, and not a typical one, but we're supposed to love home, but maybe my moon and my other planets in my chart are responsible. Perhaps also the fact that my Cancerian sun is in the 9th house, which is all about knowledge and expansion and further learning, and of course, travel, long distance travel, which is probably why I'm like I am, more than any other reason. And it comes up several times in my chart. So it explains why I'm always quite happy to walk away. But I know others aren't. Because I have a Turian mother who would not budge from the house she was married in and still remains to this day. And it's hard for her. It's everybody at different things, isn't it? We're not all the same. But the Serbian doctor, the UK did not accept her qualifications as a doctor from Serbia. And so this lady was learning to drive and she'd lived in her own property and she was living in council flats, which was fine. She was studying from scratch to be a doctor and supporting herself with 3 cleaning jobs, learning to drive and supporting her family in every which way. Admirable. That is where the rules cause you to go, be off. You've got to go and do something else. You've got to move on. So moving on isn't just about moving on, I'm not coming back. It's very much about something else. One of those things where, how do we move on? We could be moving on doing what we've got to do. The rules are stopping that lady from being a doctor. Her attitude was, do you know what? We have to retrain as doctors all the time from where we're at because medicine is always evolving. I'm going to be with the best. I'm going to actually be learning something new. I'm going to be in a place where I'm with worldwide. People come to London rather than Serbia. It looks like church. And let's face it, in tarot cards, perhaps everything that ruled their life came from the church because they were the powers that be that said, we must do this, you can't do that. That's the way it is. So the Hierophant, I actually could talk for hours on that. you know, because the other thing is quite often in a reading, it will come up and people will say, am I going to get my visa? Am I going to get the visa for this? Visa. Hierophant. They make the rules up. And, you know what? If you got the Ace of Cups, it would actually be quite hard to say if we weren't looking at where this was in the position of the spread. Because if you're looking for a visa and you want passport control to say yes or no, Eight of Cups says you are able to move on. So it would be a yes in that case. You're looking. Or is it that you want to stay? Depends how it's phrased, doesn't it? Can you see what I'm saying? So if it's like, can I get a visa to go to America? This would be a yes. But if it's like, can I have a visa to stay in the UK? No, you're moving on, aren't you? You see, that's what it's saying. So the way in which somebody phrases that question is very important. Forewarned is forearmed. So the Hierophant, the taxman, is it going to get me? Ace of Cups, how are you asking your question? Will I have to pay tax? Ace of Cups, no, you're moving on. You'll be okay. The rules are allowing you to move on. It depends on how you actually phrase it as well, all right? People might say, oh gosh, this is a heavy subject. Life is about rules and regulations and red tape. So what a fab card. You know what, Passionate Surgery? It tells your experience because you know the difficult cards that when you actually know how to work them, they will become your favorites. Hierophant, people that make the rules, who are they? HR. So if somebody's saying, I get that job and you see the Hierophant and the Eight of Cups, not looking good as that. I've got to go off and do something else. Or will I get that job? You're walking away. It depends on the question. It's the people that make the rules that can affect your life. When the Hierophant comes out, no need to do reverse, all right? I don't do reverse. And the reason I don't do reverse is we're using the minor card. I work with pairs. There is absolutely no reason for me to do that because the method that I teach uses that second card to tell you. If it's reversed and you're using the Eight of Cups, look at them both as they're upright. Forget about reversed because the reversal is to say it's either a positive or a negative. That is what that's about. The minor card, rather than getting a yes or a no, you don't need the reverse because if you're using my method, go and have a look at the videos on YouTube. Let's get back to your question. Will I be able to stay in the UK? And the Hierophant comes out in the reverse. You've phrased it. Will I be able to stay in the UK? So you're looking at the second card telling you what's happening. No, you're moving on. It's that second card that's answering. The people that make the rules are telling you, if you look at the card, your question is, can I stay in the UK? So who makes that decision? The Hierophant do, the people that make the rules. So what is the effect of those people with the rules? The right card is telling you what the effect is. You're walking away. You've got to let go of that. But if you ask the question differently, it changes everything. Special request for the star card. The star card, okay. Passionate Surgery. I'll have to get the star card. Here's our keyword, hope. How do we read the star card and the Eight of Cups? Again, think of your question, how you phrase it. Okay. Let's say you've asked, I really want that job in America. I really want it, and I want to go there. And so we get the star card, and it's like your hopes will happen if you let go of the emotional baggage. So it's a bit like anything you want comes from the star card. You've got to be the one to walk away from your emotional baggage. It doesn't mean you walk out on your family. It means that you actually find a way with those that you love and care about to go with you and leave behind the friends. The star card is our community. The star card is Aquarius, and Aquarius is all about our community and our friendships. So when I say our community, it's your neighborhood. So it's walking away. And I've used the word hope there because star card is about your hopes and wishes coming true. So if you're saying, am I going to be able to go? It's letting go of what's important to your community, walking away from your friendships, not because things are awful, but because there's something else for you. And it's moving on. You're moving on through experience. It's all coming together. And you're going for that emotional quest. And that emotional quest is to find your aspirations, as in you will make new friends. And look at the star card, mixing and blending the emotions. And if you look, she's sitting on the grass. Once you've got one thing really good, one key word for that card, you're able to go, what else is the star card about? She has one foot in the water. So that's one foot in emotions. She's kneeling on land, which is terror, which is security, which is stability, which is being grounded. The stars are around, wishing on a star. Think of that. It's about our wishes. Okay? But the star card is attached to Aquarius. And so therefore, it's actually about the fact that our hopes, wishes, it's about being grounded, and it's about going with your emotions while you've got that stability. And this is a real gem. Ever you are looking at communities, where are the communities these days? Online. So star card is all about friends, social media. Am I going to do well on YouTube? What do you look at? The star card. Am I going to get a community on YouTube? It might be, maybe you need to let that go. You're hoping too much for something that's not happening. Or, nope, walk away. Depends how you phrase the question. More importantly, where is it in your spread? And what I teach you is, these two cards, when we go to the next position, tell you whether they have grown from this or gone backwards. That's what you're looking for. Nothing happens in order, but wait till we get to the court cards, which will be till the end of the year, folks. But when we get to the court cards, how exciting is that? We are going to see whether people are remaining as students, apprentices, or whether they are becoming so big and important in their experience of life that they become kings and queens in the realm of the suit. Intelligent king of swords, queen of swords, serious cookies that are intelligent, lawyers, barristers, CEOs, those kind of things. Will they do that? Or did they start up like that and end up, not for me, going to go off and do something else? You can tell. That is what my courses teach you, to see, based on where they are now, what's the likelihood of where they're going to end up with the current background of facts. Bit like forecast for the weather. When you are actually predicting this is going to happen, is it or isn't it? That's how we find out. Would the person be walking away? It depends how you're asking it. So if you're saying, am I walking away from this community? Yep, you're walking away. If you're asking it like that. Or if you're saying, I want to be an opera singer, it's okay. Go with your hopes, walk away from where you are now, and go on that emotional quest, because your hopes are not in this community. You've got to go searching for the right community. So really, this is about walking away from friendships and communities in order to achieve what you need, perhaps somewhere different, in a different community. So your hopes and wishes are about your growth and going on a journey. And he's on a journey. Look, he's walking. This is a big one. a really big one, and we can keep doing those. So don't forget, folks, do actually make sure that you are subscribed and that you get the notification for when we're on, which is always 5 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'll see you soon. Let's play you out and see you next time. Bye for now.